And welcome back to Lantern Corp video today on Tuesday, the 9th of March. And this one comes to us from Pat Brown. Looking through there, I was surprised, my listings suggestions, I was surprised where I only found this one suggestion for John Constantine, but you asked for John Constantine. There we go. John Constantine, what Lantern Corp do I think he belongs in? This is another one where it's a little difficult because he exists within the DC universe. So he exists within the same, world and universe and existence as the Lantern Corps do. So if a lantern ring were to go to him, you'd think it might have gone to him at some point. But more than likely, it's that there's never been a lantern ring around him that's actively been looking for a user. So there's your argument right there. In theory, all of us can qualify for a lantern ring. It's just a matter of, hierarchy of, okay, of the three people here, a Green Lantern ring's coming near you. Which one of you has the highest amount of willpower and ability to overcome great fear? Oh, you? Okay, you're the one who gets this one. It's like that. But yeah, if he qualifies for a ring, which ring do I think he qualifies for? Well, as always, let's get a couple of the ones I don't think he qualifies for out of the way first. And Constantine is a very unique character. He's a great character. I love Constantine. But he's a unique character because he does, on some level, embody most of these emotions. One I don't think he goes for right off the top is rage. While he can get angry, lose his temper, and he's held a grudge once or twice, he's actually a pretty easygoing guy. He's a con artist more than anything else. He's a charlatan, but he does have ability, sure. He just uses that on a supernatural basis. He's a supernatural con man. But rage does not seem to overtake him, except in like very rare circumstances. And usually then it's like demons or something influencing him, whatever. So I can't include the rage. But he's a man who has loved, but his love is not what dominates him. It's not what drives him. It's not his predominant emotion. He's a man who, compassion's a weird one, because compassion, I'm like, okay, he's clearly must have compassion for the human race and people he cares about in order to keep doing what he does. But he's also a guy who just doesn't give a shit half the time. He'll just let someone suffer because he thinks they deserve it. So, no, compassion doesn't work. But that said, one of the ones I do think he qualifies for is the Green Lantern Corps. Now, that's a pretty, well, duh, he qualifies for the Green Lantern Corps. Hear me out on this. It's because this is a guy who I believe has died on occasion, or come to near death multiple times, has, suffered greatly throughout his life from cancer, having loved ones lost, losing, having to deal with the demonic, the supernatural on a regular basis. And he still does what he does. He's dealt with Dream and nearly gone mad from dealing with Dream. So it's one of those things where, yeah, I think he's earned the right to be a Green Lantern if he wanted to be a Green Lantern. I think the problem is he's also a character, though, who's experienced many bouts of hopelessness and depression before, that I don't know if he could hold a Green Lantern ring for an extended period of time. But in terms of qualifying for it, sure, he could qualify for it. Another one I don't think he qualifies for, but I can see the argument there, is Hope. A lot of people put even in the movie, which is not canon to anything, but even in the movies, you haven't had much faith, John, but I want you to know we have faith in you. There are people, especially those who know John well, who put their faith in John Constantine, who put their hope in John Constantine, their faith in John Constantine. It's just, he's such a not even narcissistic, he's such a kind of nihilistic pessimist, not even nihilistic, he's not a nihilist, but he's such a pessimistic dude that's like, that's great and all, but I just don't care. Bullocks don't owe you. She's like, yeah, so unfortunately, I think that really hurts him for being a Blue Lantern. Another one, though, that I think he could be in, and this one I think is a much stronger, these next two I think are better choices than Green. Yellow. John Constantine in the supernatural world is a feared man. When John Constantine is on his game, demons are afraid of John Constantine. I believe I remember there was one comic where John is actually sees a demon sitting at a soccer game, because there's a lot of chaos that erupts at soccer games, or excuse me, and in England it'd be a football game, but it's a sport. It's a sports game. I believe it's football. English football, anyway, which is soccer to us, but English football. And the demon sees him, and he immediately goes, let Tron take over the what? No, just there's a lot of chaos that erupts around here and stuff like that. Like, all right, just don't fuck around. He's like, yeah, okay. Like the demon is scared pissless of John. So you get more and more, evidence of that throughout his comic run, where he is known throughout hell. He is known throughout the supernatural realms. It's like, no, John Constantine's like, if you can kill him, but don't mess with. No, he will take his revenge out on you if he can. Like John's not a man you F with. I think fear actually could suit John very well. And excuse me, my dog is here. Domino's just here snuggling on your bed with me. Hi, baby, I love you. So yeah. Then we got the last couple. Avarice. John is greedy, but to an end's means. Like after he gets what he after he gets in the movie, he gets Lucifer to cure his cancer. Well, actually, I actually don't know if that was his end game. It could have been. That's how good a con artist John actually is. In the movie, he's got lung cancer. He only got maybe a couple months to a year, as he puts it. And basically, he does the sacrifice, basically giving up an extension or a deal with the devil in order to save a soul, and that grants him passage into heaven. But Lucifer's like, no, and just cures John's cancer so he can keep going. And then John's no longer smoking cigarettes, he's chewing gum. In the comics, however, it's like, okay, that happened. I don't know if it happened the exact way it happened in the movie, but it happened. He just goes right back to chain smoking again. So, yeah, it's like his ends justify his means. Like he has an ultimate plan and an ultimate reason for why he does what he does. It isn't just greed for the excessive reason of greed. So yeah, I don't think Avarice could work for John. White is a weird one. In some cases, John lives his life to the fullest. In other cases, he just doesn't give a crap. I think it just doesn't work for him, apart from the fact that he's a living being. Which does bring us to our last Lantern Corps, the Lantern Corps of Death, the Black Lanterns. And John, if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong on this, John has died before, but he's just, like all comics, characters come back. Batman's technically never died before in the main DC canon, be it Rebirth or New 52 or Post-Crisis. The Batman that died against Darkseid actually wasn't the Batman that died. Or actually wasn't, and that came back in Blackest Night wasn't actually Bruce Wayne. It was a clone of some kind, for some reason. Batman got hit with the Omega Sanction. It was going through time consecutively, repeatedly dying and coming back. So actually, I take that back. Because of that, he has technically died. He's just been resurrected multiple times. So Batman's, and I'm just talking about Batman. As far as I know, Constantine's probably, given his nature, his history, I'm not well caught up on Constantine's whole history, unfortunately. I do like Constantine a lot, but I haven't caught up. Mark would probably know a bit more about it than I would. He just read a bit more Constantine than I have. I think he's probably died or, come close to death on multiple occasions, but because he also deals with death on a very regular basis, be it the supernatural spirits, whatever, I don't know if he's ever spoken to death herself, but, yeah. I'd say there's a solid chance he could qualify for a Black Lantern ring. I just think, though, John would refuse it, having, the keen intellect to be like, no, fuck that, I'm not going near that shit. John, I think, would do that. So yeah, ultimately between the green, the black, and the yellow, I go yellow, actually. I think John would make a pretty decent Yellow Lantern because of just how much he is feared by a lot of the supernatural community. Demons specifically are afraid of John because John doesn't like demons. But that is just my opinion. What do you think? Do you think it's one of the other two? Do you agree with me on my assessment that he's a Yellow Lantern? Or do you think any of the other 6 would work? And could you make a firm argument for any of the other 6? Let me know in the comments below. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll review it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Thanks for watching. I'll see you folks next time. I was about to say later, but next time. I'm pre-recording my What If for tomorrow. So later.